You're listening to the debut episode of Exodus Talks. I'm Hamilton Neill, social media and advertising coordinator for Exodus Homes. Pleased to be joined today by Daniel Gregory, corporate partner coordinator and day program coordinator for Exodus Homes, and a former member of the program. Thank you for joining me, Daniel.
No problem. Thank you, man.
First question, very simple. Who is Daniel Gregory and what do you do here at Exodus?
Who am I? Well, my first job is corporate partner coordinator. What that entails is, what I do is I sit down with the guys when they come in, after they come in from detox facilities, jails, institutions, and I sit down with them and we just have a simple conversation about what they want to do, where they see their life going, what job is best gonna suit them. So after we have that conversation, I then build them a resume. And after that, they sit down here in Exodus Works for a little while, and I take a look at their resume, and I make sure that they're going to show up for work on time, that they're kind of decompressed. That's a lot of trauma to come from. And then I find them a job that's going to suit them, and hopefully that'll be a job that they're going to stay at.
What does your life look like before Exodus? What was your journey? What was your story? How do we get here today, me and you sitting together?
It started when I was about 17. My mom, she was going through medical school. And medical school is a hard thing to do. So she didn't have a lot of time for me. So that kind of left me to the streets, wanting to find a place where I belonged at, somewhere, a family. And I kind of leaned towards the streets, started gang banging, that whole thing, using drugs, everything. And then I committed a murder. I was 17 at the time. I got sentenced to 13 years in prison. Now, the funny thing about that is that I don't remember them giving me the sentence. All I remember is hearing is my mom crying, and that stuck with me for a long time. So I went into prison, and mind you that I didn't really care about school much at all. So I barely knew how to read, barely knew how to write, anything. So I went into prison with a big chip on my shoulder. If you can imagine a 17-year-old kid going into a grown man's prison. There's a lot of obstacles there. It was in that time that I kind of had an awakening a little bit. I said, man, I got to learn to read. I got to learn to write. I mean, that's where it's going to start at. So they used to have this book cart that came around. And I would take one book off of there a day. And I would just copy it. I could make out some of the words, but not a lot of them. And I would just copy it page for page. I probably copied 100 books, man. And eventually I started listening to like talk radio. Mm-hmm. And I would listen to how they would sound their words out. And it kind of taught me how to read, kind of taught me how to write. And then after that, I went and got my GED. Then after that, I went and got my associate's degree in sociology. And then they gave me a teacher's assistant's job. And it was there that I really started learning the skills that I'm using now. Because all I had to do was grade papers. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And if you can remember back in the day, man, they had these books that took you step by step, everything that you had to do. Word, Excel, everything. Yes. It's just step 1, step 2, do this. And eventually I had done all the books. So I got out of prison and I went back to my grandma's house. Big mistake. I learned, so I went right back to where I came from. It didn't take long. I started using drugs, violated my parole, did another 2 years. And then I came to Exodus. And it was there that they really started, that I was showered by so much love, man. So much love and understanding. I started off in one of their corporate partners. I worked there for about 1.5 years. And you ever had something like call on your heart?
Yes.
You ever done something and it's like, there's got to be more to life
for sure
than this. It just has to be, and you can't explain it. I mean, it keeps you up at night. So I went to Rev at the time. And I said, look, man, I want to do more. And I'm sure he's heard that 1,000,000 times.
Yes.
So he kind of told me to put my money where my mouth is. So he said, well, why don't you come in here and volunteer when you're not working? At the time, I was working a 3rd shift job. So I would come in here and volunteer during the day. And the first thing that they had me do was a recidivism study. And recidivism is when people leave prison and come back and compare the states compared to Exodus works. I ain't never done nothing like that before, but I said, sure, let's give this a try. So I started doing it, and then that's when that stuff that I started learning that I went through in prison, all them books, I said, man, I know this. Yeah. And I did them a full recidivism study. I took that to Rev, and when I did that, it gave me something else to do. And then that's when I started running their day program, teaching them cognitive behavioral therapy, teaching them trauma-informed therapy, and then they put me over to corporate partners. And he asked me to quit my job, and that's how I got the job that I have now, where I'm at right now.
That's incredible. Third question that I have is, you did point to that moment when you were isolated, really just kind of by yourself and kind of learning how to read and write. Was that the central moment where you realized there had to be a better way, that there was a change that had to be made, or were there other moments? Can you even point to one moment that was like...
That moment was important in one part of my life, but that wasn't the actual awakening for me. Because I still got out and I still did wrong. Yeah. I think the actual awakening happened when I came to Exodus, and I was sitting in the church, and I remember it distinctly, and I was just looking around at everybody, how everybody was so happy, and everybody was doing so much good in the world. That's when I said, man, I can do this too. I can do this, man. There's chances out there for me if I just grab a hold to it. I think that was the moment.
Talk about Reggie Longcrier a little bit. You did talk about how he gave you the opportunity to volunteer and grow outside of your job that you had while you were in the program. Just talk about his impact that he's had on you, the impact that he's had on this community and just everyone at large.
Okay, Rev is somebody very special. Not just to me, but a lot of people. He held the door open when nobody else would. He gave me a chance when nobody else would, seen more in me than nobody else would, and the impact that's had on my life has been great. And I feel like that's why so many people fail when they come out of prison or relapse. They don't have a community. They don't have somebody to love on them, to tell them, to show them there a better way, to accept their flaws. And that's what he did for me, man. He accepted me right where I was at and gave me guidance. Sometimes he corrected me, sometimes he didn't. But he gave me he gave me room to grow. He didn't micromanage me. He gave me room to grow and to find my purpose in life. And the community, he's changed. As far as this community, he's changed this community dramatically, man. He gives more of himself for others. And I feel like that's what stops people from reincarceration.
Talk some about Exodus in terms of structure and accountability. What did that look like for you? And what was most transformative for you during your own recovery?
The structure, there is accountability. There is rules that you have to follow. And that's needed. You can't just let somebody do what they want to do. You have to guide them. For me, that helped me see the direction that I needed to go in my life. Now, what does it look like? I mean, you're all required to go to meetings. You do take drug tests. You are required to supposed to get a sponsor. And you have people there to talk to you. You have to keep your apartment clean. You have to keep your bed made. Normal stuff in the world, but some people coming out of traumatic situations don't understand that, and they need somebody to teach it to them.
How did your experience as a resident shape the way that you show up in your role today?
It helps me understand where somebody is at, especially when they first come in off of detox, or they come in out of prison, or even if they come off of a relapse. It helps me understand, because I've been there, so I can relate, that it's something deeper that they need to heal with. And it helps me be more patient with them. Helps me understand where they're coming from.
So how do you help residents on a day-to-day basis just build those daily habits and give them the stability they need to rebuild?
I do what me and you were sitting here doing.
Yeah.
I talk to them. I talk to them, and I find out what it is that they need. And if I see something, I give them advice. Now, I don't beat them over the head. I don't make them feel shameful. But I talk to them like a person, like they are. And that's what I feel like society doesn't do. they're so quick to cast somebody out instead of just talking to them and give them a little bit of guidance, because that's all they need, because they may not know.
For sure. So once they start making money, once the structure's there, once they start working, talk about the changes that you see in the residents and what that moment looks like for you as somebody that is guiding them.
Getting a job and watching somebody actually feel like they're contributing to their recovery. Because you can be in recovery and not contribute to it. But actually feel like they're contributing to society. Feel like they're contributing to their recovery. Feel like they're making something, taking a step forward, gives them so much confidence. It's like a flower. You can watch it bloom. You just have to water it a little bit at a time. Now, you don't want to give them a lot at one time.
Right.
A little bit at a time, and it makes them feel so good. It makes me feel that the reason why I came.
For sure.
Why I quit my job and I came here, because it's a beautiful thing to watch.
So Exodus Works has a lot of opportunities for employment. It can be in landscaping, moving. You got the hot dog truck that you are a big part of, Dogs for a Cause. How do you help residents find the right opportunity within all of that?
I pay attention. I pay attention to their demeanor. I'm there when they get off work, whether they're happy or they're sad. That lets me know if they're happy in their work environment. And if they're not, I'll pull them and I'll talk to them. What's causing this? And then if it's not, I find somewhere where they belong at. Now, if they are, you can tell. They're going to work every day. They're happy to be there. They're telling you good morning because they're happy in their spot.
For sure. So in your role as a corporate partner coordinator, how do you build trust and long-term relationships with employers in the community?
Honesty. Honesty and openness and communication.
Yes.
Communication is key. So what I do is I check in with them about every 2 weeks. If I put a guy out there, I make sure I check in with their supervisors every 2 weeks. How are they doing? Are they showing up for work every day? Do you see anything that I can help with? And that communication is key. Sometimes, and a lot of times, it's they're doing great. Sometimes it's, well, let's try to work on this a little bit, and I'll talk to them, and I'll help the resident know where his flaws are so he can fix them, because they want to do well, but sometimes they just don't know what they're doing. What somebody else might know, they may not know.
Exodus Homes has a 90% success rate in avoiding reincarceration within 2 years. So from your vantage point, what drives that level of success?
Community.
Yes.
Love. Understanding. Acceptance. When you get there, when somebody who has come out of a world in traumatic situations where they've been excluded all of their life, and now that they're included and they feel like they're a part of something, that's what stops them from going back. It makes them realize that I don't want to go back there. There's somebody here that accepts me, that loves me.
So looking ahead to the future, what's your vision for your role and also the future of Exodus Homes as it continues to expand opportunities for second chances?
I would love to see, we service a lot of people. I would love to see more people be serviced. I would love to see us have more corporate partners. I would love to see us continue to grow as an organization. And not only that, but the people that's been here, I would love to see them continue to pour the love that they found here into others.
So to wrap things up in one word, how would you describe Exodus? There's so many words to describe Exodus and what we do, but if you had to pick one, what would it be?
It would be transformative.
Yes.
Because I say transformative because it doesn't just stop here. When somebody leaves here, they carry what they've learned here with them, and it continues to transform in their lives and in the lives of others. It may reach their kids. It may reach their mothers. It may reach their fathers. It may reach their brothers. So it transforms everything around them.
It is a domino effect.
Yes.
And it's incredible work. Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you.